Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, April 20th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, BBBY. Been tracking this one very routinely, especially after it started to show signs of life. And then today showed just that much more signs of life with another big new high and working on putting in higher lows. So let's get some things updated. Going to go ahead and get rid of these lines as they serve their purpose for now. So one of the newest areas of support to keep an eye on moving forward is now going to be down here at essentially this double bottom right there at 40 cents. You can see there's bottom number one and there's bottom number two right there, held strong both times. Does that mean that it's guaranteed to hold strong again? Of course not. There are no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible for you to think that if the price came down here, it could once again hold strong and bounce? Yeah, that would certainly not be some sort of random decision on your part. I can see how you would think that way, but again, doesn't make anything guaranteed. In terms of levels of resistance, two main levels stand out to me. First key level, if there is any sort of attempted move back upwards, going to be right there at the 49-cent mark. And then after 49 cents, just a very straightforward question. Where did the party stop today? And the party eventually stopped right up there at 55 cents. So that'll be that more so overarching level. But my point here is that before you even put too much emphasis on 55 cents, the price first needs to prove itself by breaking above that 49-cent mark. But all in all, monster volume today. Big movement. Let's see how it continues to play into Thursday. Next one, CJJD. Big nasty movement there on Tuesday. You can see gap down right there, and then right there just continued to bleed and bleed and bleed. But today we got a little upwards movement, and then the thing just went sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the thing got destroyed and now is starting to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed, okay, the bottom is in, and for sure guaranteed this thing is going to turn around. But going back to the previous talking point, is it at least plausible? Is it some sort of random thought? No, it's not random. Now, let's say the price was continuing to drop, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be completely justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally still just going down. But again, that's not the case here. It's at least started to go sideways. So does that mean it's the bottom? No. Does it mean it's valid to start to potentially throw that question out there? Absolutely. In my mind, $1 is a very important level. If the price were to drop below $1 and continue on down, at that point, all you would have is the price having gone right back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power are not going to go back to where they were. But if the price can stay above that $1 mark, that would then allow the price to build a higher base. So, you'd have, if the price just kind of goes sideways like this, then you'd have a low there, you'd have a low there. And if you envision those as stair steps, you'd then have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. In terms of areas of resistance, key level to watch, moving forward right up there at the $1.50 mark, so watch that very closely. But no doubt about it, huge beat down. Now it's starting to go sideways. So is this some sort of bottom? Worth keeping an eye on. Next one here, FRC, huge explosion late day today. Well, I guess not late day, more so late morning, early afternoon. Big move up here. It's consolidated out, so I'm going to draw this very crudely. But in the near term, there is this nice little bull pennant pattern that has drawn and, or I should really say kind of drawn itself, formed. But the key dynamic here that I think a lot of people are going to be watching, and I want to be very clear as I draw this line. Let's squeeze this down here a tad bit more. There we go. So as I draw this line, I'm not trying to impress you, not trying to imply that this is some sort of great discovery on my part. In my mind, a lot of people have drawn that line right there by just using that data point, that data point, that data point. You can see it's done a fantastic job of forecasting where some previous areas of resistance are. So you got to think a lot of people are watching that level. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same level, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So are there guarantees? No. But if the price comes up here and breaks up through it, is it reasonable to think that that break in and of itself, even if it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So definitely keep an eye on that key breakout area right up there around $14.65. Next one here, VYNE, and going back to that whole talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, and this is a pattern here that a lot of people have drawn. So I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great discovery. No, a lot of people have drawn something very similar to that trend line, and even more so have probably connected those two dots right there for the bottom part of that pattern. So I'm going to change that to green to represent more so the support portion of the pattern. And then let's just make it the same color to keep it maybe easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big move right there. We have the golf hole down in there for you golfers, make it more visual, and we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. So as I've said, guarantee, no, but is it plausible to think that the price comes up to the top of the pattern and then breaks up through it, that break in and of itself could create a bit additional buying pressure just because people are saying, hey, look, it's a bull pennant. Hey, look, it's breaking out. Oh, I'm a breakout trader. I'm going to buy. Yeah, that's definitely a very plausible scenario. So if you like bull pennant patterns, if you like stocks down in this price range below $5, keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and overall, it's hanging in there. What do I mean by hanging in there? Well, for those of you that watch past videos, you know that I've talked about that pink line quite a bit, 200 period moving average. Now, things did start off relatively rough because the price actually gapped down below, opened up right there below that 200 period moving average, but that didn't last very long. The price quickly got above there, did pull back some, but you can see it's still maintaining above that pink line there. So yes, very, very rough start, but a nice recovery, and it's still just, it's kind of surfing, staying right above that pink line there, and as long as that remains the case, that's what you want to see. But what's also interesting is the other area of resistance, that purple line there, the 50 period moving average. Both of these are, converging. So you can see if I turn that into a trend line and then this into a trend line, you can see that there's this little wedge forming using these two moving averages. So that's where the big exciting question comes into play. Who's ultimately going to win out of this little wedge? Are the bulls going to win out by, breaking to the upside? Or the bear is going to win out by pushing the downside? That's the big question headed into Thursday. So let's see what happens with it. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very, very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box to get signed up. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live online class. Next one, NIO, and the chart is now sitting at a very, very significant level. And that's leveled down here right at $8.75. If you look through the history of things, you can see that was where basically the gap started right there. Yes, the gap did close right there, but a nice gap closure bounce, came back down, found support again, up it went. And then we fast forward to right now, and you can see that the price, to give credit where credit's due, this green line continues to hold. However, as I zoom in, just keep in mind that's where this line is coming from. But as I zoom in, you can see that the price is very, very closely to it, which that's going to bring out the big question mark moving forward is what's going to happen with 875. So there is going to be that dynamic of self-fulfilling prophecy. You know that some people out there, and they're not wrong, they're going to say, well, I'm long, I'm bullish. I want to get long there because it's bounced from this general area several times before. I see where they're coming from. There's going to be other people saying, no, I'm bearish. I want to go short if it gets down and through there because I think that's just a sign of a bigger breakdown to come. I see where those people are coming from, but that's the beautiful thing about trading. Somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong, and that's why risk management matters. But the common denominator there in all those situations is a lot of eyeballs will be watching 875. In terms of areas of resistance, if there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, key level to watch going to be right up there at that $9 mark. But as of right now, at least in my opinion, most interesting dynamic is all about 875 and whether or not the price is going to be able to hold or if it gets a bounce. Next one here, WAL, beautiful gap up, and then it was looking a little shaky here. And then it was like the bulls just said, hey, just kidding, and then kaboom, up it went. So very entertaining day, and now we have ourselves a very well-defined area of resistance to watch moving forward, which is right there at basically the $41 mark, give or take a little bit. So keep an eye on that resistance level right there. If you prefer to play more so pullbacks, then the first pullback level that at least stands out to me. I mean, if you want to get really aggressive, you could be up there at $39.75. But if you want to be a little bit more conservative, interesting level down there at $38.75, and then even more conservative down there around the $37 mark. But even if we just take those lines, and I completely see if you would maybe disagree with how these lines were put in place there. But like I said, general area, a lot of people are going to be watching these. So in and of itself, there's now this bull flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. But going back to the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies, you got to think a lot of people are watching right up around that $41 and wondering, okay, if this breaks, is that going to be a whole another round of momentum? We'll see what happens. Next one here, PTPI. And this is, I don't know, there's just something interesting about this chart. It seems to have just such a nice flow to it. After this downwards move here, I mean, look at it. Up and down, up and down, up and then slightly down. I mean, just a very, very nice little, trend to it. Higher highs, higher lows, nothing dramatic. It's not like, now this was dramatic, right? That was just an explosion and then a pretty big move downwards. But right now, just a nice fluid upwards, trend to it. So, I mean, some people would say, one cup and handle after another. But overall, let's map out some key dynamics. So from more so an overarching standpoint, let's not overcomplicate this. The purple line here has now proven to be quite trustworthy in terms of, whenever the price even gets a little bit close to it, there was kind of close, there was kind of close, there was kind of close, but, whatever it gets, basically that distance, as of now, the price is held strong. So just use that purple line there as that key level to measure whether or not the price is putting in those higher highs, the higher lows. In terms of the higher highs, the next key battleground here that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So yes, self-fulfilling prophecy right up there at that $8 mark, which is not random because you have quite a few data points back here where that level ultimately proved to be a resistance. But with this nice, slow and steady methodical trend, seems very valuable, seems very rational to think that a battle with $8 is right around the corner. And can the price break up through it? Grab your popcorn. Next one here, TSLA, and a pretty interesting, a very interesting day, all things considered, meaning big gap down and then just up and up and up and up and up and up and up. It went pretty much all day long. And then as I speak, look at this last 30 minutes. I mean, volume coming in very, very strongly. Biggest volume right here. And I mean, just a big red candle. So, I mean, almost this entire bounce wiped away in one candle. So, yeah, quite the move here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line as it served its purpose now. But the main dynamic now to watch, at least, for somebody like me that watches on a very, routine basis, I'm very curious about this 179.50 mark. Does this level get tested again? Can it hold? Is it going to break down below it? So in my mind, very, very interesting level from a support side of things. In terms of areas of resistance, watch that purple line now, 50-period moving average. You can see right there starting to act as resistance again. So if this thing can somehow get turned around, that 50-period moving average, I think will play a role. But yeah, like I said, and let me squeeze this down here. With that level right there, because if that 179.50 mark doesn't hold up, then yeah, does it go down to potentially this next level of support all the way down there at 176.50? With Tesla, I suppose you never know, but yeah, just a very, very chart. It doesn't necessarily ruin the entire chart, but it certainly puts a big old dent into it. And now you got to start to question, maybe this whole thing here was just simply a dead cat bounce. With all that being said, earnings are going to be out, so you got to keep that in mind. And these levels could very well come into play after earnings. So again, if the price does get up through that 50-period moving average, the next key level you would want to watch is up there at 188. So keep that in mind. Earnings will be after the bell, and these bigger, broader levels, I realize right now kind of seem maybe far-fetched. But with earnings in play, both that pink line and then that level way down there at 176.50 are certainly potentially in play for Thursday. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows a NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise just at a much lower cost basis, or I should really say price to enter. So it just makes it a very popular ETF. And this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos, but I am going to turn this into a quick plug to get signed up for that class, because I'm telling you, charts are not a perfect tool, but they're very, very worthwhile, because if you did watch past videos, you know that I've talked about that pink line as an area of support. And look right where the price found some support before bouncing. You also know that I've been talking about that 27.75 mark as an area of resistance. And what a coincidence. That big old bounce ran out of steam right there before getting rejected back down. So again, are charts perfect? No, I'm not making that claim. But are they a useful tool? One that should be used and understood? I am making that claim. So get signed up for that free class. Anyways, I've kind of just summarized things already in terms of pointing that stuff out. But first key dynamic to watch right there, that 27.75 mark as resistance. And then in terms of broader levels of support, continue to watch that pink line right there. But just a lot of chop still. And I know I talked about this yesterday. As of right now, seemingly a lot of chop, and we had that today. Price was essentially down here at the bottom part of the channel and then went up to the top part of the channel and is now potentially returning back down. But what makes it interesting is this just a little contemporary consolidation before another move back up? Keep an eye on it. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for that free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, April 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today. Did you make money? Did you lose money? Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things help out the channel, to communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know that you're enjoying, I'll continue to put in the time and effort to get these top 10 videos out to you. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.